Welcome to the NASCAR Live Chat with Hamm. If you don't know me, my name is David Hamm. I'm a 25-year NASCAR engine builder, recently retired, 7-year jackman, owner of Hammscapes Landscaping and Equipment Repair and Restorations Company, and also a country ham jam on 92.9 and 550 WAME radio every Monday night. And also on Thursdays and Fridays, we do the Drive at 5 show with the Chillbillies on WAME radio. We're going to go over today the finishing order from the NASCAR race, and we're going to do lap by lap, playoff standings, NASCAR news, Martinsville track facts, which is the upcoming race, be coming up this weekend, and we're going to do some ideas for the NASCAR Live Chat with Hamm for 2020. And also subscribe to my channel to join in with the chats every Monday evening at 7:30 p.m. And hello to everybody. I'll be watching this as my premiere this evening at 7:30, just as you will be, and I will watch it and comment and all that good stuff with my friends. And thank you so much for tuning in, and let's roll right into it. We had the Hollywood Casinos 400 at Kansas Speedway. That was the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series race that was run yesterday, which would have been October the 20th, 2019. And as you know, Denny Hamlin won the race, and that's not good news for our Ford fans, that's for sure. But you know, it is what it is. Hopefully the Fords are going to bounce back soon. But we had 4 Toyotas in the top 10, and we had 4 Chevys and only 2 Fords this time. And this was at Kansas Speedway. Denny Hamlin won, Chase Elliott second, Kyle Busch third, Kurt Busch fourth, William Byron, Martin Truex, Eric Jones, Clint Bowyer, Kevin Harvick, and Jimmy Johnson rounding out the top 10. And let's see, the first stage winner was Joey Logano, who was looking pretty strong there for a while. Denny Hamlin was the second stage winner, and then obviously the race winner. So the lap by lap was, first up we had Daniel Hemrick on the pole, so he started first. David Reagan started second, a good start for David Reagan. And also worth noting on this was all 3 of the Hendrick cars were below the cut line as a possibility to be eliminated. So let's see if they got eliminated. I'll do the playoff rundown here shortly. So let's see, on lap 6 we had Kyle Larson taking the lead. So there was 3 lead changes in 10 laps between Daniel Hemrick, Kyle Larson, and Brad Keselowski right there at the very beginning of the race in the first 10 laps. By lap 24, Joey Logano radioed, and he said he started to get a little bit of a vibration in the right front. And then he ended up pitting by lap 32 under green. Lap 38, he fell below the cutoff line, so he's running 33rd with 2 laps down at the time. Then we had Ryan Newman hitting the wall on lap 75. So by lap 78, it's Ryan Blaney, Clint Bowyer, and Joey Logano in the top 3. Joey Logano won stage 1. Lap 87, Chase Elliott is leading the race. Lap 79, Joey Logano wins stage 1. Oh, I said that already. Sorry about that. Lap 95, Martin Truex leads. And 119, Kyle Larson gets a penalty for an uncontrolled tire, and Kyle Busch gets a penalty for too many men over the wall, which we've seen that penalty many times this year. Even if a crew member hangs over the wall, puts his hand on the pit lane, it counts as another crew member. By lap 125, the new leader was Denny Hamlin. Lap 158, Brad Keselowski is the last driver above the cut line with 3 points to the good. It's too bad he didn't stay there. We'll find that out soon. Denny Hamlin wins stage 2. By lap 164, Hamlin and Truex have clinched a spot thanks to the stage finishes, of course. Lap 164, Hamlin has the lead after the green flag pit stops. Sorry, I'm all tongue-tied today for some reason. I think it's just a really busy weekend. We had a balloon festival out in Statesville, North Carolina, and that's the largest balloon rally east of Mississippi, and it's the second largest in the country, I think, behind Albuquerque, who is probably about 5 times larger, 5 or 6, something like that. They have a crazy amount of balloons out there. I think we ended up having close to 60 balloons. But it was a good time. Great people, great music. We had Daryl Harwood, we had Bing Futch, Albanock, and then we had a Eagles tribute band called On the Border. And of course some of our local musicians that were out there, Steven Winger and Holt Up. Some of my friends playing on the second stage there. and it was a great time. So if y'all ever get a chance to come to Statesville, go to the Balloon Fest. It is a must. I know Tom's come down and gone to it before. Tom Robinson. Speaking of Tom Robinson, how about that? Representing there, my brother. So let's see. Lap 195. Brad is in 19th, and Chase is in 7th. So they were pretty close to being tied at that point. So 39 laps to go. 3 points separate Brad and Chase. 6 laps to go. Brad and Chase are tied, meaning Elliott would advance at that point. So one to go, and a caution flies. There was a wreck as the 2 bumps into 41 of Suarez and catches the 8 of Hemrick. They were racing like 4 wide right there at the restart, and then they just ended up. So yeah, basically what happened was and then the 3 comes down. He's back behind the wreck. He comes down on Joey and runs him into the grass. So I'm like, what the heck? But you know what? Joey did a 360 spin right there in the grass, and then he straightened it back out. And that was a great recovery by Joey. You know, that's one of the things too I love about this new package. If you're gonna be positive about it, excuse me. One of the things is how big that rear spoiler is. These cars can bump. They can bump into each other and straighten themselves back out. So, you know, with that big spoiler hanging out the back, it makes a big difference. All right, so, and you all saw how the end of the race ended up with Denny Hamlin winning the race. So that's the way that went. And I know that Rachel wasn't real happy with this because that meant that her driver was not going to move on, and we'll mention that in a few minutes. But first, Eric Jones had a fine for unsecured lug nut. Kurt Busch's car is going to the R&D, NASCAR's R&D over in Harrisburg. So the Truex car passed on the 3rd try in tech. His car chief was ejected after the 2nd try, and he loses 15 minutes of practice at Martinsville. That's for Truex. And we'll get his to start where he qualifies. Failed bodies on the 1st time and rear toe on the 2nd time. Let's see. Harvick's car passed on a 2nd time through, pushing the car to the garage. The team realized the weight on the drive shaft was hitting the drive shaft tunnel. Guys, how does this happen? So they wanted to fix it before qualifying. In order to do that, they had to fail themselves. So the car chief was ejected, and they lose 15 minutes of practice at Martinsville. So here's the playoff standings after this shake-up of the points. You know, that was the last race to have the 12 drivers, and now we're narrowed down to 8 drivers. But those advancing to the round of 8. And I'll tell you that there's 3 Fords, 3 Toyotas, and 2 Chevys. And Kyle Busch is on first in the points, the playoff standings, and Martin Truex second, junior. Denny Hamlin third, Joey Logano fourth, Kevin Harvick, Chase Elliott, and Kyle Larson in 7th, and Ryan Blaney is now in 8th. So, you know, if you want to count, let's see, the bottom 4, there would be Kevin Harvick in 5th, Chase Elliott 6th, Kyle Larson, and Ryan Blaney rounding out the top 8. So, eliminated from going into the round 8 are the Brad Keselowski, Alex Bowman, William Byron, and Clint Bowyer. So 2 Fords and 2 Chevys got eliminated for this round. That's a shame. I mean, we had a good shot with the 5 Fords up there, but now we're down to 3. Let me make sure I'm telling you. Yeah, 3. So 3 Toyotas, 3 Fords, and only 2 Chevys. There was a little bit of some stuff going on there with one of the cautions that came out, and apparently it was into the favor of the Chevrolet. So, you know, you've seen that in the past, and that's kind of what happens with NASCAR. So in other news, we have the NASCAR is in the last stages of signing Geico as a premier partner for its new Cup Series sponsorship model. I have a question about that. Does that mean we're going to see the Lizard instead of the Monster Girls? I guess so. It will be the first time NASCAR hasn't had a title sponsor since 1971 with R.J. Reynolds. The old Winston Cup. I kind of miss that, you know, because that was always the big thing. The old Winston Cup was around forever. So there's a lot of things that happened this week. The JTG 47 hauler caught fire Thursday in Illinois. The fire started in the rear axle and quickly spread throughout the trailer. The trailer was unhooked, and it appears to be that no injuries sustained at this time. Let's see, the Colleague Racing number 10 hauler was involved in an accident in North Carolina Wednesday. The driver and co-driver received serious but not non-life-threatening injuries. Both drivers have been released from the hospital as of Thursday. The former Gander Outdoor Truck Series owner Lonnie Troxell passed away. He owned the truck driven by Wayne Edwards. So that was a pretty sad deal. He just, I don't know all the specifics, but I remember seeing on Facebook that he disappeared. They were looking for him, and I believe it had something to do with water in a boat and that kind of stuff. At the end of the season, Brian Patty is leaving Rouse Fenway. He is currently Ricky Stenhouse's crew chief. So if any of you guys know where Brian Patty's going, I probably could send him a message and ask him what's up, but I'm just kind of curious if anything's been released yet. You know, I hate to ask him and him not be able to give me a straight up answer. So, all right, Jimmy Johnson says he will decide in the next 4 to 6 months if he will retire or continue racing. That's pretty big. We all kind of figured he's probably pretty close to retiring, I would say. Let's see. NASCAR's buyout of ISC was finalized today. This means that NASCAR can now change the schedules of these tracks around as they see fit. And as an added bonus for NASCAR fans, Brian France's stocks were completely bought out, meaning he has zero connection to NASCAR from a business and decision-making standpoint. Yes, how about that? That is awesome news for NASCAR. Get him out of there. Thank you very much. I'm sure you all agree with me on that. So NASCAR has taken over 12 tracks, including Daytona, Talladega, Homestead, Auto Club, Chicagoland, Darlington, Phoenix, Martinsville, Michigan, Richmond, Kansas, and the Route 66. So there's other 8 tracks are Atlanta, Bristol, Charlotte, Kentucky, Las Vegas, New Hampshire, Sonoma, Texas, and that's the other 8 tracks. So fans won't notice much immediately, but NASCAR's acquisition and privatization of International Speedway Company will make it easier to do business with the new entitlement sponsor program. Potential schedule changes and to take the business risk without needing Wall Street's blessing, basically, is what it comes down to. That's the International Speedway Corporation. All right, so on January 28, 2019, it was revealed that Chicagoland, Darlington, Kansas, Martinsville, Michigan, Richmond, and Phoenix they had removed 78,000 seats, which is not a good sign of the times for the NASCAR races, you know. We got to get the fans back in the stands for sure. I'm going to show you this car right quick. This is one that Chad Hyder sent down to me. He wants me to get it signed, or wants me to sign it for him because I'd actually built the engine that ended up winning the race. Let me switch over here and make sure you can see this good. I built the engine that won the race. This is a little decal on it, a little winning sticker. Make sure I stick that back in the box. But Chad, I know I need to get this signed and get it back to you, buddy, and I'm going to do that. But, oh, look at that. They give you some confetti. I guess that's the confetti from the actual, how cool is that? From when he won the Charlotte Roval race. I'm going to try not to drop this. That's a pretty cool little car, though. It's got the confetti all over it. There we go. See the confetti? Pretty sweet. All right. There we go. So I got to sign this for Chad and send it back to him. As well as his sunglasses he left whenever I had one of my parties last time. All right. Let me flip back over here. Okay, so we're going to move on to Martinsville, talk a little bit about Martinsville, and then we're going to get into some of the ideas for 2020. So y'all be thinking about some different things that you would like to see me do for next year with our NASCAR chats. And I'll throw some ideas at you and see what y'all think about it. All right, let's see this back down here. Okay, so Martinsville Track Facts. The first Data 500 is a Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series stock car race held at Martinsville Speedway in Richmond, Virginia. I don't know why I said Richmond, I'm sorry. Ridgeway, Virginia. So Martinsville is only a couple hours from here, hour and a half or so. Not too bad at all. Always enjoyed going up there. and pretty neat little paperclip is what they call it, track. And I remember being there, and we were wondering if the race was going to be called because of rain, because it was raining kind of throughout the day. And next thing I see, we're just all kind of sitting around, and then I see Earnhardt over there, because the only way you could leave the track was to walk across the track back then. And I see Earnhardt already changed his clothes. He's over there with his leather jacket on, and he's ready to walk across the track. So we were like, okay, let's start putting stuff up. We know the race has been called whenever Earnhardt's on his way out across the track. This race is the number 7 of 10 races in the playoffs, and the first race in the round of 8. So this race has been run every year since 1949, since NASCAR making it's the oldest track still run today. The oldest race still run today, yes. So it's been around since the very beginning in 1949. This race has had 13 sponsors. How about this? I'm going to give you all these little quiz and see if you can answer them. Answer in the comments here, or if you're watching this for the first time, answer it in the comments below. All right, so who is the driver with the most wins at Martinsville? And I'll tell you, a total of 9 wins there. And let's see, driver with the most wins. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so I have this down here. Well, I'll come back. Y'all tell me who's the driver with the most wins, and then also tell me the team with the most wins, and also the manufacturer with the most wins. And I think I have this information figured out right here. It's kind of a little bit confusing the way I have it written out, but all right. If I had my harmonica, I'd play it. I want to hear y'all's guesses. All right, while y'all thinking about that, I'm going to go into some of the stuff for the NASCAR live chat with Hamm in 2020, and let me know what you think about this. So beginning in 2020, along with the Roval Race Reporter, which I mentioned last week, you know, whenever some of you go to the tracks and then you send me the information, and I'll include you on here and put your name out there. And we had some people already saying they're going to be going to some of the races, so they can go and do a little interview and then give us the information here, and then we'll put it on with the NASCAR live chat with Hamm. So we're going to add Know Your Race Fan. So each person who is a part of the NASCAR live chat with Hamm will receive a list of 10 questions on Facebook Messenger. So just the info so that we can get to know each other as fans without getting too personal, obviously, but you know, on YouTube that is. But we're just going to do a little like a spotlight on one of the fans, you know, fans, friends, NASCAR live chat members. Also, we're going to do a NASCAR background, so it'll be basically a bio featuring each week a driver, a car owner, a team, or a historic person, because you know I love the history of NASCAR. So that's one of the things that I'm really passionate about, interested in, loving the history of NASCAR. You know, it's like Smokey Unit. When I was in Daytona, and there's a video I have on here where I was actually looking for Smokey Unit, where his best damn garage in town was. You know, and that was I just love that stuff, and I had to do it while I was down there. I just really felt this need to go and try to find that. So that's something I want to start doing. And if you have any more ideas on things that you would like to see, put those in the comments below. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and hit that like for me, please. That lets YouTube know that we would like this video, and we'll keep doing more just like it. All right, so back to my questions about Martinsville. So who the driver with the most wins? Said the way I have these notes typed out, but they're maybe a little bit confusing. But I think that yeah, I guess I can figure this out. I'd say let's see. All right, what was your guess? It looks like a total race driver with the most wins at Martinsville is Richard Petty with 15 wins. And then we have second place. We have Darrell Waltrip with 11, and then we have Jimmy Johnson with 10, and Jeff Gordon with a total of 9 wins at Martinsville. So that would go to the team with the most wins, who ended up being Hendricks. and they have a total of 24 wins. And the manufacturer with the most wins, of course, it goes along with the Hendricks, would be Chevy with a total of 62. And so last year's race winner was Joey Logano. So when I was in Martinsville in 1998, we were winning the race with Sterling Marlin, and that's the year that Ricky Rudd ended up winning. But he was running really good. We had the best car that day, and it turns out I had actually, I was working with a head engine builder that year, and we built the engine for Sterling Marlin, and I was doing the dress out part on it, getting the engine ready to go to the track, putting the alternator on and doing these things for it. And I said, hey, do you think we should change this alternator? It's got one run on it, and this engine's going to go to Sterling Marlin. He said, nah, it'll be all right. And so guess what happened that race day? The alternator failed on the engine. So when I got back to that, and I was the jack man, so yeah, that was pretty bad. I mean, we were winning the race. We ended up losing the race because of a failed alternator. The battery was draining, so we had to come in and change the battery, and that ruined our day as far as trying to win that race. So when I get back to the shop, of course, one of the first things I said was, hey, what'd you think about that alternator? And it was like, man, you were right. Sorry about that. So that's not something a lot of people know, but, that's been 20 years ago, over 20 years ago now. But, yep, that's the way it goes. As they say, that's racing. So thanks, everybody, so much for tuning in. And don't forget to hit that subscribe. Comment below. Find me on Twitter and Instagram at DHammIM. And stay tuned for more every Monday night. Chats at 7:30. NASCAR Live Chat with Hamm. And I hope everybody has a great week. And I'll see you later on. Good night.